Hi dear students, how are you? I am back with another chapter, and that chapter is Indigo. Let's first of all talk about the concept of this chapter. What is the chapter based upon? This chapter is based upon an unequal battle between oppressed and oppressors. This in fact is battle between oppressed, you understand, who are oppressed, of course Indian people, and oppressor who have been called oppressors here, of course Britishers. I believe you must have studied somewhat about the historic Indigo movement which had happened in Bihar, Champaran. So of course this chapter is based upon the same, upon the same theme. And of course it shows that how Mahatma Gandhi became Mahatma Gandhi for a country. In fact, this little movement, Indigo, realized Mahatma Gandhi that how in this country, no foreigner can give him order. And this mantra, this little mantra, became a keynote for launching such great movements which ultimately turned out to be the key factors for us getting freedom. So that's what this chapter based upon. This chapter in fact is that any purpose which is undertaken with sincerity, truthfulness and with sublime objective always bear good fruits. That has to produce good fruits, and of course it in fact shows the significance of every contribution which is done for making something great. This in fact story is quite obvious. It's about an unsung hero, Rajkumar Shukla, who in fact became such turning point in the movement of freedom. So student, now let's initiate the detailed explanation of this chapter. So as I told before, the writer of this chapter is Louis Fisher. Let's get something about him. So who is Louis Fisher? You see, Louis Fisher, he was born in 1896 and he died in 1970. Was born in Philadelphia. He served as a volunteer in the British Army between 1918 and 1920. Fisher made a career as a journalist and wrote for the New York Times. It's a famous newspaper of America, the Saturday Review, and for European and Asian publications. So he in fact wrote for many renowned newspapers. He was also a member of the faculty of Princeton University. The following is an excerpt from his book, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. So he had written a book on Gandhi's life, and this chapter is a part of that book. The book has been reviewed as one of the best books ever written on Gandhi by Times Educational Supplement. Finds it has been found one of the finest books, which has been written on the life of Gandhiji. So now let's initiate the chapter. So see what is in the beginning. When I first visited Gandhi in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram in central India, he said, I will tell you how it happened that I decided to ask the departure of the British. Gandhi told Fisher that he would let him know what happened, what prompted him, inspired him to launch the movement of Britishers to go from India. It was in 1917. So that provocation or that inspiration came in 1917. So in 1970 it happened the very first time when Gandhiji made his mood that he would initiate, Britisher departure from India. He had gone to the December 1916 annual convention of the Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow. So there was a meeting of Congress in Lucknow in 1916. Gandhiji had gone there. There were 2,301 delegates, representatives, Congress leaders, and many visitors. Were there. During the proceedings, when the schedule of meeting had been going on, Gandhi recounted he remembered a peasant came up to me and said, a farmer came up to me and said, I am Rajkumar Shukla. I am from Champaran. He introduced himself by saying that his name was Rajkumar Shukla and he had come from Champaran, and I want you to come to my district. He invited Gandhiji to visit his district. Gandhi had never heard of the place. It was in the foothills of the towering Himalaya. So this place, Champaran, was at the bottom of huge Himalaya near the kingdom of Nepal. So it was on the boundary of Nepal, border of Nepal. Under an ancient arrangement, the Champaran peasant was sharecroppers. Champaran, peasant farmers were sharecropper, and it's not pronounced peasants; it's pronounced peasants. All right. So Champaran peasant was sharecroppers. Now, first of all, we'll have to understand this term. Who is called sharecropper? In fact, sharecropping is still practiced. In this arrangement, the actual owner of the land gives his land on rent to any farmer. Now the farmer plows the field throughout year. He in fact grows the plants, all right. He does agricultural work on that land. He cultivates it, and in the end, according to pre-decided arrangement, a part of his earning is given to the owner. All right. For example, imagine that I am a landowner and you don't have your own land. I in fact am engaged in other activities. My land I cannot use, so I would give my land to you on rent, and now you would do farming work throughout the year, and as there is a pre-decided arrangement, I would take a part of your crop, or in fact you can give me cash also as a rent. So this system was there. All right, and of course this seems to be a fair system. In fact, this is a very vital point about the chapter. So this system was being practiced. Rajkumar Shukla was one of them. So he was also a sharecropper. He was illiterate. Rajkumar Shukla was illiterate but resolute, but determined. He was a determined guy. He had come to the Congress session to complain about the injustice of landlord system in Bihar, and somebody probably said speak to Gandhi. So at that time the sharecropping system was very unjust, or unjust system was there, and injustice was being followed. So he in fact had come to Congress session to voice his opinion, to tell how there was a massive oppression of sharecropping system and of sharecropper in Champaran. But when he reached Lucknow, he was advised by someone to talk to Gandhiji. All right, someone said, speak to Gandhi. Gandhi told Shukla he had an appointment in Kanpur. And what is this Cawnpore? Dears, this is ancient spelling of Kanpur. Today's modern Kanpur, this is that ancient spelling Kanpur. Gandhi told that he had some prior commitments. He was supposed to go to Kanpur from there, and was also committed to go to other parts of India. Then he had other scheduled meetings. Shukla accompanied him everywhere. So Shukla in fact went with Gandhiji everywhere. Then Gandhi returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad. He went back to Sabarmati, his ashram near Ahmedabad. Shukla followed him to the ashram, and see, obstinacy, stubbornness of Shukla. He chased Mahatma Gandhi over there as well for weeks. He never left Gandhiji's side. All right. So in fact, he became completely obstinate. He became Gandhiji's tag, TAG tag. When someone in fact goes behind somebody else all the time, that's what is called tag. We call it in Hindi, tum bilkul meri pooch ban gaye ho.
हर टाइम मेरे पीछे घूमते रहते हो. तो that pooch is called tag, and a person who in fact we say ना that बहुत चिपकू हो यार, बिल्कुल हर टाइम चिपके रहते हो. So that person is called limpet, Limpet, limpet. So we cannot say that Rajkumar Shukla was limpet of Mahatma Gandhi, but yes, he can be called tag of Mahatma Gandhi for a while. Alright, so see, he begged, he asked, Rajkumar Shukla asked, fix a date. He asked Gandhi ji, please sir, fix a date for what? For getting married to me? Of course not. Gandhi ji was married when he was 11 years. Alright, so he asked, fix a date to visit Champaran. Fine, he was not intending to marry Gandhi ji. Impressed by the sharecropper's tenacity, and Gandhi ji was deeply impressed with his obstinacy, stubbornness, or like pig-headedness. And story, Gandhi said, and he was impressed with the story as well. So Gandhi said, I have to be in Kolkata on such and such a date. He told that, dear Shukla, I have to be, in Kolkata on blah blah date. Come and meet me and take me from there. Fine. Months passed. Shukla was sitting on his haunches. So months passed. Gandhi reached Calcutta, and when he reached Calcutta, Rajkumar Shukla was in wait. He was in haunches. Haunches. What to tell about haunches? Haunches mean tashrif. Or like that is the best suitable word for the tashrif. We say tashrif rakhiye. So that's what is haunches. Fine. So he was on his tashrif at the appointed spot in Calcutta. Fine. Gandhi arrived. He waited till Gandhi was free. Alright. So he kept on waiting for Gandhi to be free. Then the two of them boarded a train. Then they caught a train, boarded a train of Patna in Bihar. Fine. Because Patna, this Calcutta and Bihar, they are adjacent state. So this was the reason Gandhiji had asked Rajkumar Shukla to catch him from Calcutta, because it would be comfortable for him to go to Bihar from Calcutta. Now let's see. There Shukla led him to the house of a lawyer named, student pay attention on this name, Rajendra Prasad. So Rajkumar Shukla became an instrumental. He became an instrumental for making Gandhiji meet, with Rajendra Prasad. And of course, everyone knows he is the very first president of our country. And later, Rajendra Prasad became a devotee, a follower of Gandhiji. And as for the same, he got a reward. And yes, he in fact became what he became. So see, in fact, in this way, Rajkumar Shukla became an instrumental for Rajendra Prasad, to be known to Mahatma Gandhi. And after that, because of that, Rajendra Prasad became the very first president of our country. So it was on account of his togetherness with Mahatma Gandhi, which in fact got him immense popularity, established him as a leader of Congress, and as a result of the same, he became the very first president of our country. So see, Rajendra Prasad was out of town, but the servant knew Shukla as a poor yeoman. Yeoman means farmer, who pestered means disturbed their master to help the indigo sharecropper. So it means Rajkumar Shukla was a constant visitor of Rajendra Prasad's house, and this was the reason he was known to the servants as well. So they let him stay on ground with his companion Gandhi. Can you imagine that they did not, of course, give any place to Rajkumar Shukla to lie? He, along with Mahatma Gandhi, lied on the ground with his companion Gandhi, whom they took to be another peasant. Because of simple dressing sense of Mahatma Gandhi, he was taken another farmer by the servants of Rajkumar Shukla. But Gandhi was not permitted to draw water from the well. Why? Lest. What is the meaning of lest, student? So that it should not be. Remember, this word has a long meaning. Lest means so that it should not be. some drop from his bucket pollute the entire source. So it was thought that Gandhiji was an untouchable. So he was not allowed to draw water from the well because it was thought that falling of some drop into the well might contaminate, might pollute the entire water. How did they know that he was not an untouchable? Gandhiji was not untouchable. Can you let me know, student, what was the caste of Mahatma Gandhi? Yes, any guess? Any straw? Any angeethi? No. So Gandhiji was actually a Baniya. He was from a Baniya community. Yes. So let's go ahead. Gandhi decided to go first to Muzaffarpur. Fine. Which was then route to Champaran. At that time, to go to Champaran, one was supposed to go through via Muzaffarpur to obtain more complete information about condition that Shukla was capable of giving. So Gandhi thought to collect more information about the exploitation, harassment of sharecroppers. So he thought to collect some evidences from from which place? Muzaffarpur. All right. And then he thought to go to Champaran because Shukla was of course illiterate. He was able to explain his helplessness, exploitation, harassment up to a point. Gandhiji wanted to have information about it in detail. That was the reason he decided to visit Muzaffarpur. He accordingly sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kriplani of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur. Alright, he had one acquainted person, J.B. Kriplani, and he in fact telegrammed him, to meet him, whom he had seen at Tagore's Shanti Niketan school. So both of them had in fact already met at the Rabindranath Tagore's Shanti Niketan school in Calcutta. The train arrived at midnight, 15 April 1970. Kriplani was waiting at the station with a large body of students. So Kriplani was there with so many students. Gandhiji stayed there for 2 days in the home of Professor Malkani. Fine. So Professor Malkani was there. Gandhi stayed in the house of Professor Malkani, a teacher in the government school. And Malkani was a teacher in the government school. It was an extraordinary thing in those days, Gandhi commented, for a government professor to harbor, to shelter, to protect a man like me. Why? In smaller localities, smaller area, the Indians were afraid to show sympathy for advocates for the supports of home rule. So in this respect, it was an unusual happening because at that time, in a smaller area, people had fear of government, and of course they were the employees of British government. They were given salary by British government, so they always had a fear in their heart to show their support for those who were the supporters of home rule. Home rule means rule of India. So this was the reason they had fear. Why they had fear? Because they thought supporting any supporter, any advocate of home rule might provoke the government, and subsequently they might be chucked off, they might be terminated from their job. So this was the reason they had a kind of fear in their heart. But here things went quite against the protocols. Alright, and Malkani, who was of course a government professor, harbored Gandhiji in his house. Fine. So student, let's in fact keep this much in this video. Next in fact would be covered in next video, and on Friday there is a test of yours, and in that test 2 chapters are coming. One is the rat trap, and second is keeping quiet. So be ready for with the same. Bye bye.